Hello, everybody. We are going to get started here in just one second. Let me just see. Just want to connect and reconnect to my Wi-Fi. So hopefully it doesn't kick me off 20 times. Okay. So it'll come back. All right, welcome in. This is our Astro Energy Forecast for the upcoming week. My name is Camille Craft. I'm the owner and creator of Vital Mystic, and I do these every Tuesday. And boy, do we have a wonderful set of upcoming weeks. I'm just going to give you the overall gist of what is happening. We have a lot of beautiful energy coming in, a lot of really powerful energy. So, yay, welcome in. So we are coming off the triple conjunction last week in Capricorn. We saw so much erupt, so much opportunity. We called it the golden foundation. How, Venus took her throne in the underworld. Hello, hi, Julia. And all of those pieces are coming together. And now we're preparing for oscillation into Aquarius season. And as you know, we've had a lot of balance, kind of movement going from Capricorn to Aquarius. And Aquarius really is a visionary. Next week, we'll get into Aquarius season, but there are some pieces that I wanted to talk about right now, particularly why this week and next week are very powerful for our visionary purposes, for our, being conduits in action, speaking up and allowing for ourselves to create the ripple effect that we are here to create. So, backing up. Backing up. So today is Moon in Scorpio. The moon will move into Sagittarius at some point today. And then we also have the sun squaring Chiron. We have, Mars squaring Chiron, all of these pieces. And when we have squares, it causes tension. It requires us to look at the things that just don't feel great, right? Maybe something is being asked of you to go deep into your identity right now, deep around who you are, what your power is, what you're capable of, what story you've been telling. And across the board, I've just been seeing so many different identity up levels, not just on a collective scale, but on a personal scale as well, where we are being asked to really remember why you are here. Remember the part of you that is sacred. Remember the part of you that is meant to be light in motion. Light in motion is a miracle, right? Miracles can do beautiful things. And sometimes miracles come to us because we are courageous enough to be one, right? Be one for others or things along those lines. So we have these squares. And so Sun in Capricorn, structure, rigidity, success is squaring Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries talks about leadership. What part of the leader inside of you, outside of the paradigm that we've been in, wants to erupt right now and come forward? What are the things that you are seeing that you are ready to say that might not be accepted, or what you were taught, or, from that space of control? And I think so many of us grew up from the essence of, oh, I got to control myself so that I can be successful or can be loved or whatever it is. And that's kind of going down. It's going, right? So that's the essence of what sovereignty really means. Sovereignty really means that you are fully aligned with your guidance, your energy, your being, and not that you don't experience fear. It's about using and knowing that every experience, collective or individual, is an opportunity to see how powerful you truly are. It is giving the spaciousness for your power to rise in that calling. And I always like to talk about this analogy, which is there are these particular seeds in California. I'm from California. And everyone's like, oh, the wildfires, blah, 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 blah. Wildfires have been fucking happening in California for a very long time. And actually, they regenerate our soil. And so, obviously, man-made is just different. But what I'm saying is that there's actually seeds in the soil in California that are only sprouted when there's a mass wildfire. And the reason for that is because it's regeneration. So, can you imagine being a seed that is only turned on in a mass wildfire? In a mass crisis, in a mass chaotic thing? That's how some of your spiritual gifts are. So if you feel overwhelmed by the current state of the world, I want to remind you, you are literally born for this, right? I want to remind you that you are literally made for this. There is a power inside of you that is waiting to sprout and be the first person who helps replenish the soil after we let go of what's already dead, right? So thinking about that in your personal life right now, what are the things that I need to let go of? What are the old identities? What are the old structures? What are the old stories? What are the old things that I was taught that took me to where I'm at right now, but don't have space for where I'm going, for that level of sovereignty or vision or intellect or speaking, or wherever that's coming. And that's what that square in Chiron in the sun and Capricorn are saying. They're saying, hey, like tension is where we grow. Think about somebody building muscle in their body. We have to create tension, right? So for us to get stronger, that's how we actually understand our power. And that invitation this week is lean fully in. Lean fully into the gifts, lean fully into what scares the shit out of you, lean fully in. If the state of the world does not inspire you to get out there right now, it's fucking time. That's what it is. It's not there to scare you. It's there to say, hey, remember what's really important. Remember that you were born for this moment. So as we come into Moon and Sag, we're gearing up for a very, very powerful Capricorn new moon at the end of this week. And for those of you who followed the Golden Foundation, we have tons of rituals that I posted last week. I will be posting some more, but literally this is like visionary like stuff, like really spiritual warrior stuff, like really important stuff that is coming to a big reason of many of us saying yes to coming back to be on this planet at this time. So Moon in Sag, we have a dark moon in Sag. We have a dark moon that's coming up at this weekend, right before. So I would say Friday, Saturday. And then the dark moon will move in Capricorn, and then we'll have a new moon in Capricorn, and then we'll move right into Aquarius. Some things that I want to note are going to be on the 17th. Venus is in Aquarius, and then Mercury and Mars come together in Capricorn. So we kind of have like the way that I see it energetically is like the torch is being passed, right? Think about what Capricorn represents: structure, solidity, some might call it the patriarchy, that essence. And there's this torch that's being passed over to Aquarius, which is rebellious, visionary, humanitarian, being fucking out there and aloof and saying, yeah, what about this idea, right? We're learning how to bridge esoteric knowledge, high level knowledge into a world that's been restrictive and controlling and telling you that you can't fit into the world. I don't know how many fucking times I was told I was never going to be able to make money doing what I love. Here we are. So let that little rebellious come out. Maybe that rebellious part of you is ready to break free. Maybe it's ready to be listened to. Maybe you just take that leap of fucking faith, whatever it is, and allow for yourself to move from that space. Process your emotions, especially this week, because as we have waning moon getting into the dark moon, we're letting go, right? We're tilling that soil. We're letting the whole wildfire move through so that we can rise again very clearly. So Venus moves into Aquarius on the 17th. Mercury and Mars come together. Okay. Mercury, communication, thoughts, mind, right? Breaking through old structures, old paradigms of the ways Mars is exalted in Capricorn. We saw that Kazemi last week. So this is about mind over matter. Right? Mind, the way that we see. To be a visionary, you're moving in a way that literally the entire world around you will probably say that's not possible. And if you're doing that, you're doing it fucking right. Because when you come in, when we are here to be a ripple effect, when we are here to say yes, that is going to be, sometimes you have to be the first person. Some of us are blueprints for something, recognizing like, yeah, that's fucking scary as fuck. But sometimes some of us have to be rainbow sheep, psychedelic sheep out there and be like, maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a different thing. And that's when things start to shift, right? Perspective, voices, communication. And that's what's happening with Aquarius. The way that the collective is thinking is going to completely shift over the next 3 to 5 years. So I'm going to say there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes up so that they think differently, right? And making sure that we see that as a collective scale. So we have that on the 17th. Venus moves into Aquarius. It's a little parade. All right. Mercury and Mars come together in Capricorn. They both move into Aquarius next week. We have quite a few Kazimis next week as well in Aquarius. Like I said, passing the torch. But first, in the middle of all this is this really incredible new moon in Capricorn. We're going to talk about this. So, new moon in Capricorn, I want us to think about this. It is at the end of the sign, right? It is at the end. It's like we're here, right? We're at the end of Capricorn season. When we have a new moon at the end of a Capricorn season, we are in the final degrees of a sign. We are in the mastery level of that sign, right? We understand structure. We understand good strategy, but it does not rule over intuition, intellect, inspiration, visionary. We don't look to the external system. We make sure that we refine our messaging from the inside, not messaging, but communication, our channels from the inside, and then we build. One of the best things that Capricorn helps us do is build. It helps us build systems. It helps us build structures. It helps us build schools. It helps us build those things, right? And so I just saw this other like quote that one of my clients shared, and I just couldn't agree with it more, which is you don't shift a system like you don't shift a dying system by screaming at it. You build alongside it. And that's just something for me is just like, yep, that's what we're doing here. We're not sitting here screaming at the freaking thing that's not working. We've already moved into a solution space. And I want you to ask yourself, even on a personal level, what is this identity that is coming forward? What is this identity that is ready to be that beautiful seed that replenishes, right, after the fire has come? What is my part in that ripple? What is that piece of me, big or small, whatever it is? But what is that identity? What if I took all the things that I learned and, like really just like a big sunflower that's dying, we take the seeds that we want and we say, thank you so much for that knowledge. And then we plant it into the next garden because we are here at the threshold, right? So, being at the threshold, I'm going to just talk a little bit about the pieces that we want to be aware of for this Capricorn new moon, which is, what is the world that you want to see? And how can we be the embodiment of that world in this moment, big or small? Right? Whether that's bigger dreams that you might have, maybe that's just interactions in your family, maybe that's the way that you're raising your kids, maybe that's the way you're looking at things or joining groups or having conversations with people, whatever that is, how can you be the conduit of the world that you want to see? Not the world that we don't want to see, but the one that we want to see. How can we courageously light up our hearts and our beings and souls in a way that it provides safety for other people to do the same and courageousness to do the same? So the new moon in Capricorn, this is going to be conjunct Mercury Capricorn, conjunct Venus in Aquarius, conjunct Mars in Capricorn, sextile Saturn in Pisces, trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus, and then also it's going to sextile Neptune in Pisces and conjunct Pluto. So we got a lot of beautiful things that are happening. Literally, it is a passing of the torch, right? And on a personal level, I want you to think about what identity has gotten me to this point. What identity was I told to be, how success looked, how money looked, how love looked, how relationships looked, how my relationship to my body looked? What are those stories that I'm going to give way? And what are those little seeds that I'm going to take with me and I'm going to carry the torch with me? Right. And so as we come into this new gate, you can call it a gateway, you can call it passing the torch, whatever you want to call it, this new moon will own a new chapter. It will usher in a new way of thinking. It will usher in a new way of being. It will usher in, and that's why all of that energy from 2025, it asks us to face long time stuff, right? A lot of us let go of a long time stuff. And so, give gratitude for everyone that we acted it out with, because that's all learning, right? So now as we come into this new moon, I want you to think about it holding that torch, right? You hold a torch, you hold a specific torch. With all that knowledge, I'm going to choose what I get to say, and if I got to rebirth my identity right now, not the one that I've been, but the one that I get to choose to birth the identity right now with the knowledge that I have, the awareness that I have, the love that I have in my heart, how would you sing that forward, right? How would you allow for that torch to move like a flame, like a line of fire, right? That clears your pathway. And so a lot of times, I think one of the biggest things of anyone who has Aquarius placements, I have Aquarius rising, is that we've always felt like outsiders. Right. And so the biggest thing is that, we actually need outsiders who can see the big vision because we need to know where the fuck we're going. We also need people who understand structure and strategy, right? Because we get to work together. So I want you to think about, what is that big vision, right? What is that thing? What is that identity? And from the moment that of the new moon, I want you to start moving like that person, not waiting for it, not waiting for the money to come, not waiting for the person to show up, not waiting for the permission. What is a small action that you can take every day that signals to the universe, I'm already fucking there? That everything else gets to oscillate around me. So I talk about this a lot, about identity rebirth, right? And how that has helped me basically move very quickly in business. I've broken a lot of rules in business and I've moved very, very quickly. And so with that said, the number one thing I look at is, what is the thing that scares the shit out of me the most? Right? Maybe I'll get a download or an idea. For example, I think one of the things that I recently did was a 25K mastermind to have my beautiful ladies in there, and it brought in all of these beautiful clients. But through that process, I had my one-to-one shut down for a long time. The idea came through very clearly at the temples in Greece, but the actual essence of being initiated through the fear of like what that actually meant and being in that leadership role, okay, like that's my initiation, right? So I want you to ask yourself, what is a version of me who has achieved or receives or is moving in alignment with whatever you can call it yourself, your spiritual warrior, your purpose, your light, if you have a certain goal of money or love, how's that version of yourself moving? And start to implement that every day. Every day is a ritual of being able to be in the space of which we have come here to catalyze the vision of our purpose into form. Every day, every single day. So I want you to ask and see, what are my daily habits? What are my routines? What are my choices? What are the things that I might have been avoiding? And allowing yourself to move, because as the sun moves into Aquarius on January 19th, that's where the new vision comes forward. As Mercury moves into Aquarius, Mars will also move into Aquarius next week. We have a Mercury Cazimi on the 21st, and then we also have a Pluto Cazimi on the 23rd. And all of these pieces, as the new moon kind of parades with all this energy, it's going to open up, right? It's going to open up. Your biggest invitation right now is to say yes to that vision. No matter how big, how crazy, how, even if it just feels like a small vision, whatever it is, however you can say yes to that vision, that's your one and only ritual to do now. Because we never know when we say yes to a vision, like we think, like, I always think about the versions of Camille that was like, oh, I'd really love my vision of my 50K month. And like now it's like, wait, I'm way past that. But it's like, all those visions that I said yes to, that everyone told me that I was absolutely crazy. I now have thousands of students, right, that are being impacted by the rituals. Can you imagine if I never said yes? Can you imagine all the beautiful things that have happened and all the connections and community because I chose to courageously say yes? So that is my invitation for you under this particular new moon. What are you saying yes to? What is the identity that you are ready to fully claim? And then how can you allow yourself to be a conduit, a ripple, right? A ripple in action to allow for other people to see that not only is it possible, but creating the connections and communities that our world definitely needs in this moment. So if you are interested, I'm holding a free, completely free live workshop immersion to help you usher in this next identity. And it is going to be on the 20th. So when Mercury moves into Aquarius, and it's going to be right before this Cazimi. So if you are interested, you can comment dream on any of our stories or posts. I'll be posting more about it. It is a identity. I don't even want to say it's an up level because I honestly feel like it's just an unveiling. all our identities are inside of us. We're just getting all the sticky shit off, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to teach you and show you the process behind what has created success for me in business. I swear to you, it's not going to be strategy. And then the next piece is helping you usher in what that call is or whatever that vision is that your heart is ready to sing into the world. Again, wishing you all an incredible and beautiful week. We have an extremely powerful week. If you are interested, we are doing rituals inside the membership. It's our beautiful community in there. But with that said, I'm wishing you an extremely powerful and impactful and beautiful week. Don't forget, you are so powerful. You are literally here to hold and be the light, especially in the birth canal. So, bye everybody. Hope you have a wonderful day.